A cream-colored envelope rested on the kitchen counter, heavy in a way that suggested permanence, as though it carried a promise etched in stone. It wasn't a wedding invitation, yet its weight felt just as final. Inside were divorce papers, sharp and cold, slipped beneath a teacup as if she hoped I'd overlooked them. When I slid the pages free, her gaze didn't falter. No hesitation, no plea, only silence where our vows used to live. I didn't need to ask why. I had already seen him. The shallow bravado, the empty stare, hands too soft to have ever done real work. The type who survives on charm and the labor of others. The very kind I used to shield her from. When I brought him up once, she brushed it aside, calling him a friend. Her laugh came sharp, dismissive, painting me as insecure, paranoid, a classic diversion. I let it pass, allowed her to think I believed her. But the night I read his message, late again, swing by, everything ended. In that moment, I wasn't her husband anymore. I was a ghost in my own life. It hadn't always been like this. I was once the man who woke early to make her tea before her teaching job. The man who built a garden shed because she said sunflowers carried summer into her soul. Together we built more than a home. 2 cars, a house, a branding firm from the ground up. She charmed clients. I crafted strategies. By year 2, we were making 6 figures, living the dream we'd built side by side. But somewhere in the race toward success, I stopped being her everything. He became the thrill, chaos wrapped in a smile, a bartender strumming chords, drifting without direction. She used to mock men like that, until one dawn she slipped home at 5 in the morning, forgetting the time. No apology, no shame, only a shrug. That's when I started following the trail. Each lie a breadcrumb, each inconsistency a crack in the glass. The night I found them, I didn't storm in. I stood across the street, watching her silhouette glide behind his curtains, her body outlined against the light. I didn't shout. I didn't break. I memorized the image, walked home, and opened a new file on my computer. Departure blueprint. I stopped asking questions. Quietly, I erased my name from company documents, rerouted client contracts into my new LLC, and secured Sterling and Vail, our most lucrative account, under my sole control. She didn't notice, too absorbed in her midnight rendezvous. I installed tracking software, watched her keystrokes, read her texts, saw her share my routines, my business plans, our finances with him. He was angling to step into my role, and she promised he would. Bold move. She never sensed the ground shifting beneath her feet. 3 months later, I told her I had a client meeting in Boston. She barely looked up from her laptop. Safe travels, she said. I smiled. Boston wasn't my destination. I booked a penthouse suite in town, ordered her favorite Chardonnay, reserved a table at the same bistro where I had once asked her to marry me. I called it an anniversary surprise. She agreed without hesitation. Guilt, after all, is the perfect disguise. She arrived in a crimson dress, hair pinned back the way she wore it when she still cared. I let her sit, order, chatter about nothing. I nodded, smiled, even brushed her hand. Then I slid an envelope across the table. She opened it, puzzled, not divorce papers. My resignation from our firm, complete transfer of ownership to me. The contract were airtight, signed by clients, sealed by the board. Her name erased from every ledger, every deed. "What is this?" she whispered, voice trembling. "A goodbye," I said. She gave a shaky laugh. "You can't do this." I leaned forward. "You already did." Then came the final blow. Printed transcripts, her messages to him, their plans to edge me out, her calling me a reliable drone. Her hand trembled around her glass. I stood, placed the house keys on the table. "There is now, along with the debts." Her eyes glistened. "Wait." Too late. I walked away. Never looked back. A man trading his past for peace. The next day, he sent me some empty threat about legal action. I replied with the confidentiality clause he had signed when we launched the business. Breach of trust, years of litigation, enough to drown him in fees. He disappeared. Now I live by the shore. A smaller home, fewer possessions, more silence. Sometimes I think of the sunflowers she once loved, the ones that withered when she stopped tending them. That was her first betrayal. Quiet, but undeniable. Love doesn't abandon what it cherishes. She did.